My name is Nick Koumalatzos. I am a entrepreneur, business owner, father, veteran. I served in the Marine Corps from 2000 to 2012, deployed to Afghanistan, Iraq, Turkey, all over Southeast Asia. I say that because I just want to give a little bit of clout to my background, to just state that on multiple occasions, I rose my right hand and swore an oath to defend the Constitution. And now in my life, I want to enjoy the Constitution, enjoy my rights and freedoms. For those of you that do follow me on here, know that I really like to just make fun videos and lift weights and share training tips and spend time with my friends and family, be a dad. And that's what I want my life to be. And unfortunately, with what's going on in America right now, it's kind of pulled me out of that, and I have to focus on essentially politics. And this is not something I enjoy doing at all whatsoever. I absolutely hate it. But they're leaving me no room to do so because of what's being put in place. So to give you some background, I live in a town called Holly Ridge, North Carolina. And on March 17th, if I'm looking over here, it's because I have my notes, because I want to make sure that I have everything in order. On March 17th, the governor started to do the whole stay at home. He started to do government shutdowns. He initially shut down restaurants and bars. And we knew that it was going to get worse before it got better, right? Due to the whole COVID thing. Then on the 25th, he released another executive order shutting down essentially everything except what he deemed was essential. Not really sure what those guidelines were, who decide what's essential, but we'll leave that till later. The main things that were shut down were training facilities, salons, churches, and a few other things. Initially, I said, okay, let's do the right thing. Let's follow these guidelines. Let's do it for a couple weeks. The incubation period for this virus that affects 0.0024% of the state, has a 14-day period. So people will get sick, people will get better. It has a 99.9% recovery rate, no big deal. And then we'll move forward with our lives. Well, that 2 week came about and nothing happened, nothing changed. Another week went by and the president, and now we're obviously in April, the president gave the power back to the states, as he should have done, because that's the way our government works. The states maintain their own power and the governor runs the state. So we thought, okay, by May 1st, this will be lifted and we can go about our lives. At this point, we had already had about a 50% reduction in revenue with my 2 brick and mortar businesses. Which, we can recover from. I know how to pivot. I can figure it out. I'm not scared of that. This is not the point of me, losing a little bit of money is not the point of this. It's more about the businesses that can't pivot, and that I watched 3 businesses shut down in that month. And you can give it they should have savings. It doesn't matter. The point is they should be able to thrive regardless, because it's their right to. So this didn't happen. He didn't lift the order. Matter of fact, he came on and said that he basically said nothing. He spoke for an hour and said nothing, that he was extending it another week to May 8th. And then under phase 1, that there would be no businesses that open that weren't currently open. So basically he was extending it indefinitely because there's no date on phase 2. So I made the decision to open. On May 1st, I made the personal choice to open my training facility to its members by following the CDC's guidelines, which was making sure people's temperature was checked, making sure they were 6 foot apart, make sure that we had sanitation stations, that we were cleaning everything, which for those of you that own a gym know that this is something you do already if you have a good gym. This is common health practices in a training facility. So I made the decision to do that, my personal choice, to execute my rights to life, liberty, and, like be able to care for my family, to be able to earn a paycheck, to be able to pay my employees, because through all of this, my rent's still due, my employees' rent still due. The world kept turning, regardless whether the government shut it off or not. On May 7th, my gym was raided by the Holly Ridge Police Department. And I say raided, but because of the way that they entered the premises and the way that they engaged with the citizens of this town. They came in hot. They blocked off the parking lot. They came in really fast. We had all the doors open to the gym because I wanted it well ventilated in there while people were training. I didn't want it to be a kind of a confined space. So they were able to enter free of movement. They came in, hands on guns, immediately started yelling at people. They were within 1 foot of some of the people, yelling at them, saying that if they did not get out of this facility, they were going to be ticketed. My manager at the time was in the bathroom. They were banging on the door of the bathroom and then yelling at her. And I was not there, unfortunately. I found out about this. I immediately got there. The citizens were very upset. The members were very upset. My manager was very upset. And so I engaged with the officer, who was Captain Richards.
What's happening? Everybody that's in the store, the gym were told to leave. You've been issued a citation for having the gym open. If you get caught again, then we'll take warrants out for your arrest. Okay?
That's it?
Again, well, you're issued a citation, so hang about.
Who sent you guys here?
Well, we don't send us here.
Huh?
Don't worry about who sent us here.
I want to know.
We came here. We saw cars up people working outside the gym.
So you're going to not allow me to run my business, pay my employees, pay my taxes that pay you?
Well, first of all, don't worry about paying me. Follow the government's order. Let's stop. Let me smart ass, okay? Follow the government's order.
What are you saying?
When they open up, just because they stop being smart ass.
And they gave me they waited for everybody to leave. Of course, they had to move their cars so that people could leave. And they gave me a Class 2 misdemeanor. I received the Class 2 misdemeanor, and we closed the gym and went on about our way. A couple hours later, I came home trying to cool off, wrap my head around everything that's been happening, and the chief of police shows up. While I'm here at my home speaking to the chief of police of this town, the captain goes back to the gym and looks for me.
Is Nick home or is he here?
I don't know where he is.
All right, call him. Tell him to leave that ticket I would give to him on his front porch so I can get it.
I'm sorry?
Let him know that ticket we gave to him earlier. Leave it on the front porch. We're coming to get it, okay?
Okay.
He talks to another business, happens to be my business partner, and an employee of that business, and says, I need you to go find Nick. So he, doing what he felt was right, went to try to find me, even though I wasn't there. And the owner of the business said, stop, you don't work for him. He can go find Nick. And then Captain Richards called my business partner an asshole. And then when he left, he gave him the bird as he was driving away.
Is there a problem with me that you have?
Dave, just let go.
He called me an asshole like 5 seconds ago.
Oh, wow, that's not necessary.
This is the professionalism that we're dealing with. While that's going on, I'm at my house talking to the chief. The chief, in a way apologizes for the actions of his officer and says, that he believes in the Constitution and that we were going to be put on a 3-strike rule.
I was trying to text, but I was trying to pay attention to that meeting because it was an urgent meeting. I told him, I don't think they've been warnings, okay? Once we got done with the meeting, Sarge came back, Captain came back, hey, what happened with the Snap Fitness? He told me, we went in there and talked to him, and citation was issued. I'm like, have they been warned? I think so. Well, think so or no so.
He's like, you just need to move this vehicle right now. I'm like, dude, calm down. The guy the contractor was also a Marine. He just wants to know what to do. You don't have to, there's a level of escalation that doesn't need to take place. Like, he's not going to do anything to you. He's not aggressive. You know? There's that needs to change, I feel like, legally. And then there's a culture within the town that could be improved.
So the way it was supposed to go down was each business gets 3 warnings and then a citation. So he took the citation back and explained to me that it was going to be voided, as you see in the video. So the governor starts phase 1 May 8th. We were under the agreement that we were going to reopen May 8th under phase 1 if we follow the CDC's guidelines. And so we did. So we were closed for a little over 24 hours and we opened May 8th at 5 p.m., letting the members know the risk, letting them know that we have warnings and whatnot. On May 8th at 8:40 p.m., I got a call on my personal cell phone from the town manager asking me if I had opened my gym. I said, listen, it's almost 9 o'clock at night. This is not appropriate timing. I'm hanging out with my wife and family. You can call me back Monday. She obliged. Monday came around. Nothing happened. On the 9th, I received a call from the chief. The chief and I spoke, and then he basically said that we got this is our first warning, because what had happened was when we sent out the email to the members, one of those members forwarded that email to the town manager, and that became our first warning. So now we have Americans telling on Americans. Everything was quiet. Everything was members were super happy. We were following all the guidelines. Everybody was super thankful that we had opened up the gym and that they had a place to train. They said they were really struggling with some mental health, and they were it was good to be out. It was good to get in the gym and train and sweat. And they just felt a ton better, and they were super appreciative that we did that. May 18th comes, and we're doing some private law enforcement and military training in our facility, and Captain Richards knocks on the door. I cracked the door, and I said, how can I help you? He says, I know the chief said that you can be open, but you can't due to the governor's orders, and you need to close down now. I said, I'll call the chief. Politely. And then he left, and that was that. I attempted to call the chief that morning, but his phone had been disconnected. Come to find out that the chief had been temporarily relieved of duty, which we kind of know what that means. I don't know why he was relieved, but I can speculate that I know why, because he was following the Constitution and didn't believe in what the governor had said. And so I guess they removed him from the picture. So now this person who had been harassing members is now the acting chief. So Captain Richards is now the acting chief of Holly Ridge, temporarily. At approximately 3 p.m., Captain Richards came back with a detective and the town manager and gained access to my business through a key card that they had from 2010 that had not been deactivated. I don't know why they had this key card. I don't know if it was for safety from back in 2010 or if they had a membership. We don't know. These individuals came into our facility with no warrant, with no permission whatsoever. They illegally trespassed and then started to harass our members again, saying that if they did not leave the facility, they would be cited. They had 5 minutes to get out or they would get cited. I found out about this. I came to the gym and then I asked Captain Richards what statute, under what law, that he was going to cite citizens of this town.
So what we have here is we have Captain Richards, who's taking photos of everybody's license plate and threatening to give them tickets unlawfully.
I wanted to try and talk to us earlier. Officer I'm interim acting chief right now. Like I spoke to you before, you need to close the gym down, Nick.
Just so you know, acting chief, you illegally entered my business. You trespassed. So I have a case there. Do you hear me?
He said, because the law. And I asked him, what law? And he rolled his window up at me. There's no law, and I've consulted a lawyer. There's no law, there's no statute that you can cite a citizen for this. Meanwhile, he has his officers taking photographs of everyone's license plate and everyone's face in the gym so that he can give them a ticket, so that he can threaten them. He's intimidating people. He's threatening people. That's where I started to have the issue. So if you want to harass me, if you want to come at me, I've been in a fight. I know how to protect myself. I can take a beating. I can take all of it. You can ruin my life. I will rebuild it again and again. What I cannot allow is for a law enforcement officer who's also a Marine, that swore an oath to protect its people, to protect the Constitution, harass citizens of my town. So once again, I'm temporarily closing the gym so that I can engage with local members of this community, so I can engage with the town council, so I can engage with the members of the county, so I can reach my congressman. I've reached out to the governor. I've reached out to our 2 senators. I've gotten nothing back, but I'm going to keep trying. It's exhausting. My heart is broken. I never thought in a million years that I'd be sitting here trying to tell this story to you guys, because all I wanted was to serve my time in the military and enjoy the freedoms that I fought for. Be able to run my business, be able to enjoy time with my friends and family, enjoy the liberties that I fought for. And I can't do that. I can't even focus on the work that I'm supposed to be doing, because now I have to spend my time talking to city council people and county officials, trying to get a hold of a congressman so that I can just enjoy the freedoms that we're supposed to have. Again, the issue is that they're taking business owners and tax-paying, law-abiding citizens of our country and of our state and of our towns and turning them into criminals. We have to look at this from a broad picture. The entire time that we've been shut down in North Carolina, our ABC stores have been open, our tobacco shops have been open, big box stores have been open. There can be 200 people in Lowe's. You got to look at where the state income tax comes from and state sales tax. None of the places that are big revenue generators for the state have been shut down. Just small businesses that their income tax and their sales tax are minuscule. So it appears that they're doing the state justice by flattening the curve, and we're limiting this and limiting that. But really, the state is protecting its revenue, but not its business owners. Right before I made this video, I got a call from the tax collector's office in Onslow County, wanting to know when I'm going to pay my property tax for 2020. And I said, is this serious? Like, you shut my businesses down and you expect you're collecting property tax. And she said, well, that's something you need to take out with the legislate. I'm just here to take your money. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. I ask you, please, to share this video. This is by no representation of all law enforcement officers. You have good law enforcement officers out there that unfortunately are getting fired, like Greg Anderson, and then many, many more, that they also took an oath to defend the Constitution and defend people's rights, your and I rights. This is, I believe, a very small, isolated incident. We see them happening in Jersey. We see them happening in other places. But at the end of the day, this is me by no means saying that all law enforcement officers are bad. But you know how it is. Even in the Marine Corps, we had a bad 10%, in law enforcement, you always have a bad 10%. It sucks that these individuals get to rise to the power they have. This individual is probably a bad Marine. He was probably a really poor leader in the Marine Corps, and he's a poor leader in the community. And now I've taken it my personal mission to ensure that our rights are protected, that my citizens' rights are protected, and that this tyranny no longer continues. Will we win? I don't know. I don't know what the outcome will be, but I know that I will sleep better at night knowing that I did everything in my power to voice your guys' rights, to voice the citizens' rights, and to be the best human being and the best American that I can be. I love you guys. I love all of you. I love America. I love what this country stands for. I don't want to forget what that means. You guys know the deal. Never quit, never surrender, and we always keep moving forward.